I just see that it's a lot more hopeful place than before. Um, Even though there's still so many struggles to overcome, and a lot of the news that comes out of Egypt, for example, now, which I follow more closely because I have friends there and I lived there in 2008. And I got very excited, by the way, before April 6th. Like, I had only been there a couple of months, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're actually, maybe I'm going to be here for something historical. And all the conversations that I'd had with regular people, I was like, wow, do you think that I know all these people hate Mubarak, I know that all these people are fed up, I wonder if they will participate in the strike. And then everyone, of course, that didn't really lead to anything right away, but after that, I sort of felt kind of depressed about the possibilities for, not even the possibility for change, but the possibility that, like, people who really didn't like their situation, their government, people who were really dissatisfied, the possibility that these people would actually, like, do something about it and take a risk and stand up, which, by the way, is something that I know that Americans are not in the same situation as Egyptians, but I always wish that we would stand up against things that we dislike, because I find that when you talk to most Americans about, like, I don't know, the fact that the gap between the rich and the poor is widening, like, inequality in the U.S. is actually technically greater than, like, the gap is actually wider than in Egypt or India. The poorest people in India and the poorest people in Egypt are still much poorer than the poorest people in the U.S., but the gap in the U.S. is actually more dramatic, and it's getting worse. And people know this. Well, actually, a lot of people don't know this. But, for example, just when you bring up some specific thing that a politician is doing wrong, most people don't think, okay, I need to call that politician. Okay, we need to, like, go stand outside his door. We need to do something about this. Most of the time they say, oh, you voted for him, so too bad, now you're stuck. He was democratically elected, so that means that whatever he does is kind of okay. So anyway, I'm like super disorganized, but I feel like before these revolutions, I felt depressed about Egypt and Tunisia, and now at least I feel hopeful. Like, people know the power that they have.
What's your fear about Middle East?
My fear, and I will just talk about Egypt because I don't feel like I know enough about other countries as much. But my fear for Egypt is that all the people who went out to demonstrate in Tahrir or in Alexandria and Muhassab Ramal and outside Masr, like the two big stations, and also Sidi Geber, like, and all the locations in Alexandria and Port Said, all the cities, that those people will see that now that the army is randomly arresting people and torturing them and trying civilians in military court, and that these corrupt politicians are not actually being held to account, that Mubarak doesn't go on trial, that the system doesn't change, that the economy doesn't improve, their lives don't get better. And all those people who felt powerful will think that that the lack of change is proof that it didn't work, that people power doesn't work, that nonviolent protest doesn't work, which I don't believe is true, and my friends who participated don't believe is true. But I'm worried that if the revolutions fail, that it will be even worse, that people will feel it, that they won't stand up again. That's my fear, but I hope it won't come true.